Okay, you should be able to see my screen now. And what we're looking at is what we consider to be a template, generic template for contract to purchase, real estate purchase and sale agreement. So we're going to walk through this purchase and sale agreement to give you an idea of what types of terms, what types of clauses you want to have in your purchase and sale agreement. So you should be able to see my screen. And we're looking at, again, the template agreement that is a short form, one pager that is a good starting point for making an initial offer. So you want to make sure that your purchase and sale agreement, and of course you have the seller and a blank field for the seller there. Now, if you have looked up public records, you can verify who the actual owners are. You want to make sure you put the actual owners' names in this field. If it's one owner, put the one owner name. If it's multiple owners, put all the owners' names, because you're going to need all of the owners that are on public record to actually sign on behalf of the owners of the property. For example, if there's a husband and wife, you need both parties' names on the agreement, and you need both parties to sign. What we do when we send out our initial offers is we make sure we put owners of record as the blank filler for the agreement, and then make sure we get all the owners of record to actually sign on the bottom of the agreement. But again, you can replace this with the actual owners' names. Now, coming to the buyer field, we like to make sure we're sending out an offer. We make sure that our buyer is parenthetically defined as an agent of an LLC to be named and or signs. And that gives us the ability to take title in the name of an LLC that we will form, a virgin LLC, if you will. That gives us so much flexibility on what we do with the property. It gives us the ability to actually close in the name of that newly named LLC. It gives us the ability to, after taking contractual interest in this property, gives us the ability to actually assign the newly formed LLC to a wholesale buyer. So many different avenues we have when our buyer is named as an LLC to be named and or signs. The assigns alone gives us the ability to assign this contract. All right, so this is the top part of the agreement in terms of defining buyer and seller. Of course, you want to make sure that you have the address of the property defined. You also want to make sure that you define, of course, the purchase price. You want to make sure you define what the deposit will be. One of the things of major importance to emphasize here is that you never want the seller to hold the EMD, the deposit. Okay, you always want the deposit to be held by the title company or attorney that's going to be officiating the settlement of the property. So sometimes sellers will try to strong arm you. And if you're a new investor, you may not know better, but you're going to know better at this point. You definitely want to make sure that you put your title company or attorney as the holder of the EMD. All right, so let me go ahead and continue on. Give me 1 second here. Okay, so a couple of other items that we like to have in our template agreements is we like to make sure that our contract is subject to an inspection, review, and quote unquote written approval of a financial partner. This gives you some elements of what we call out clauses. So if later on you decide not to move forward with the purchase or not to move forward with the wholesale deal, if you can't find a wholesale buyer, you can of course use that as a potential out. Also like to make sure that our agreement has that the buyer can place signs on the property because this gives you the ability to start marketing, whether it's marketing for a tenant buyer, or marketing for a wholesale buyer of any kinds. It gives you the ability to have already agreed upon explicit permission from the owner to be able to put signs on the property. It could be owner financing sign you put on the property. If you're looking for a tenant buyer, it could be a sign for just a tenant, or it could be a sign for a wholesale buyer to market your property, open house, whatever the case may be. But like to have that type of clause in our agreements. Worked very well for us. Also, like to have in here that the seller agrees to allow the buyer to show the property. So that's speaking to the type of access you're going to have to the property. Usually we like to have the seller give us a key put into a key box, lockbox on the door, so we can come and go as we please. It facilitates the ability to to make deals happen. And we also like to include that in the agreement that the seller already agrees to release the deposit to the buyer. Shall a release request be asked for and warranted, that there's express explicit language that defines that the deposit will be released to the buyer. So a couple other things that are pertinent to getting these offers out. Want to make sure that you understand that you need to have a section in your agreement that has a space for other terms. So when you send out offers, you may, like us, send out multiple offers. You may wind up sending out an offer, one based on a no terms offer, so no financing contingency, all cash. And you may have an offer that goes out with other terms, like, for example, seller financing, maybe taking the property payments over via subject to purchase. So with our purchase agreement, we have this empty field here, which we customize with text that we will then import into the agreement to then define what those other terms are based off of each case-by-case deal scenario. So you'll see an example of that. Okay, let's continue on. Just drop down to a couple places here. Our template has closing costs, recordation, transfer taxes split by buyer and seller. And we also have built in to the agreement a extension if necessary to complete the purchase. You see here, buyer will have the exclusive right to market the property by public auction, MLS, or any other means necessary, and right to extend the closing in our agreement has by 60 business days to complete purchase if necessary. So this is the template agreement that we have and we use to send out our e-sign offers. Just wanted to go over that agreement in some detail so you understand, how our template one pager gives us flexibility on, making, in the case where we do a multiple offer strategy, maybe an offer based on cash, an offer based on terms. And we're going to actually go over exactly how those offers get sent out here in a second. Actually, I'll pull up a video to show you exactly how those offers get sent out. Let me go ahead and do that right now. Pull up this video. So what we'll do, we have a previously recorded video, and we have a resource article on sending out these e-sign offers. You'll actually get a link to this resource as we give you a link to the replay of this coaching call. I'm going to pull up this video and actually walk you through actually how the offers go out, how our virtual assistants actually send the offers out on your behalf, or how you can send the offers out yourself using our Deal Finders funnel. Let me pull this up for you.